Welcome to the next chapter with Kayrnix history. This is going probably to be a short chapter. There is one thing to
Hear me?
about that series that I was making a small critic and involving also commentary on what some good guys said about it, since I'd reached the point in the light novel where the scene happens. Well, first of all, after finding that spot, I went back to check what was said in the critic. But it's making everyone die before I could spread the bleeding. And that is, I said that that critic stated that in the manga and the manga and the light novel, but again not hearing me. The protagonist about the slave saying that he reminded him of that girl from school. Well, it happens that some ad that started running while I watched the video in another tab made me misheard, and when he said girl once of the time, for some reason I thought I had heard him say school somewhere else, right before, right after. So I thought he said schoolgirl, but I've checked back, and no, he has not said schoolgirl anywhere. So he used to say girl, which is fine. However, he then goes to elaborate and thought that the choice of buying that slave as an act of misogyny, as if the protagonist hated women in general, which is just as false as saying that he bought her thinking that she reminded him of a classmate. No, it didn't.
Pipe down, doormat.
Just a girl.
Something going on outside. Trying to listen.
Oh, come on, Six. Throw me a bone. Who's this agent that's coming to interrogate me? At least answer me that, will you? Fine. Stay clamped. I don't care who it is, I ain't talking. Nobody's gonna get nothing out of me. Nothing.
What?
All right. I ain't proud. I give. My dad's an Imperial agent.
What did you say? Your dad is a what?
Yes, please repeat that, Junior.
Oh no.
This is a restricted area. What are you doing here? Who are you?
It's not a who. It's a what. Sith?
He's going to need a new pair of pants.
Who cares what Dermot needs? You gave me enough time to get what I need.
I have a very bad feeling about this.
Damn it, you have to
Behind
make
yourself,
that
Sith.
quote.
That's what 2 squads of the Republic's finest looks like.
Nice to meet you, man.
Finally, a fight worthy of me.
Come on, men. Let's send this Sith home in a body bag.
I should have not attacked that guy, but just this the light.
You're good to go.
I already had quite the rage build up there. And they are dead. So the quote is not that, it's not wrong. He quotes that saying because she reminds me of that girl, and this is what the text says. I looked at her, quivering in fear, and felt a wave of satisfaction was over me. I imagined that other woman quivering in fear, just like this, and it made me feel great. That's the line, as in the light novel.
Zix? Zix? You wanna talk to me, Zix? Get up, man.
You're a pathetic waste of human space.
You're right. You're right. I'm worthless. Please. Please, I know why you're here. The Republic's investigating my dad, and an agent's coming to put screws to me. But I won't break. I promise. Let me live. My dad's secret is safe with me. I'm
Do you think I'm stupid? You just told them your father is an Imperial spy.
You must think I'm an idiot.
Fine. You're an idiot. If it'll save me, I'll think whatever you want me to. My father's done so much for the Empire. Look, maybe the apple fell off the tree, kind of far from the tree, but it's still... Look, the apple's still... Look, I'm not exactly sure where I was going with that, but please don't kill me.
I'm putting you out of my misery.
But who will put me out of my misery?
Don't care.
Poor fool. Not sure we've ever come across anyone so useless.
There's still much of the galaxy left to explore.
You are so right. But now the bar's been set pretty high. I mean, low. It smells awful in here. Let's move on, shall we?
Well, she's made a statement with which I agree, so I saw her for once that she echoes my thoughts. So that's the thing, but I believe it is quite clear from that there is no general misogyny in his action and in his thought process when buying the slave. In fact, previously he is... Oh yeah, and there is where they might see, but not this guy. He comments it as something natural and logical. He starts saying that he would prefer a male slave over a female slave. With the idea, I need to go, yes, back to Malabai Queen. And with the idea that a man would be expected to be tougher physically and be more resilient in taking a combat role that is going to be physical melee combat role to defend him, but he is not the stealth hero who is going to defend everybody else in the party. Then why not he be the point, taking the physical contact to the enemies, while the companion can attack from range. But anyway, it doesn't mean that the guy needs to be thinking as anybody thinks, or he can have that expectative, that idea that, at least in this world, a man would, a male companion would be more fit the role he needs him to fulfill, his companion to fulfill.
I must be honest. Your success at the Satellite Control Station and Republic Crater Outpost has surprised me, my lord. I computed the likelihood of success as nearly negligible. In my assessment, however, I only consider the capabilities of a typical Sith. Clearly, you are not a typical Sith. I will adjust future calibrations to account for your unprecedented abilities.
Don't let it happen again, Imperial.
You'll find my learning curve to be exceptionally responsive. Lord Barris is pleased. He says it's time to zero in on your prime directive, and he awaits your contact. My barracks are yours. Activate the holocommunicator in the next room to speak with Lord Barris. The line is secure.
I'll call Barris when I'm good and ready.
Whenever it pleases you, my lord. Make yourself comfortable.
I wasn't sure what that option would mean. Anyway, besides that, he thinks that some SJW, and not necessarily SJW, might think that it is sexist to think that it is not a need to have the protagonist of your series think whatever the mainstream thought, like majority thinks, or even believe things, right? He can be mistaken and believe things that are not quite, but regardless, it makes sense for them and for the character to think that. So I don't see why they make out that there's misogyny where he only changes his mind to buy a male slave when he sees her, because she reminds him of Mine, the character that betrayed him, and it is a way of revenge, indirect revenge against that woman, at least to imagine that he's taking revenge.
I hope you can see the smile on my face, apprentice. You are turning me into a true believer.
Quit buttering me up. What now?
I'm sure you're impatient to complete your time on that little rock. With the satellite tower computer destroyed and Commander Rylon's son neutralized, my spy's tracks are covered. Now the only threat to Rylon ever being exposed is the man himself. It's time to end that threat. Permanently.
I'm going to wipe him off the face of this planet.
Ready and able. That's what makes you such a lethal and valuable asset. I've had him embedded within enemy ranks for decades. The extent of his contribution to the Empire's interests is unrivaled.
I'll be sure to thank him before I kill him.
At your discretion, apprentice.
Not the line that I
Won't be
thought.
necessary.
Maybe I misread.
Jedi investigator must have no hard evidence that Rylon was killed to silence him. It must look like anything but a targeted execution. Annihilate everyone there.
There won't be a heart left beating.
See to that. I've summoned Lieutenant Quinn. He'll prepare you for your final task.
Your final target is the Balmorran arms factory. The Resistance forces recently captured it and made it their headquarters. An incursion into the arms factory will be a monumental feat. I'm excited by the prospect of you laying waste to that place.
We're on the same page, Lieutenant.
That will make us an unstoppable force, my lord. All right. The Republic Command Center is deep inside the arms factory, the most heavily protected installation on the planet. In order to reach Commander Rylon, you will have to make your way past all of the factory's defenses, which are considerable.
The tougher, the better.
Stationed inside are an estimated 1,000 of the Republic's best-trained soldiers. Specifically, Rylon's elite squadron is responsible for some of the most precise, improbable resistance victories on Balmorra. They're legendary.
They're practically dead.
The Empire's cause here on Balmorra will be greatly advanced once they're gone. One final thing. The investigator that the Jedi sent has been concentrating her activity around the arms factory. I have her under minute-by-minute surveillance. If she becomes a problem, I'll contact you on your comlink.
Sounds like a plan.
I'm on top of it. I will be here to salute you when the Balmorran arms factory is a smoking husk, my lord.
New Codex Entry, Commander Rylon, Warrior. One of Darth Varas's spies. Commander Rylon is a true loyalist who has mastered the difficult art of serving the Empire by blending in with the enemy and gathering his trust, serving for years as a commander in the Republic-sided Balmorran resistance. Until recently, only his son, a young Balmorran officer, has known his identity, but now he is in danger of being revealed by a Jedi Padawan with the peculiar and powerful ability to detect a person's true allegiance. Darth Varas sees a threat to one of his agents as a threat to his entire operation and has ordered that Commander Rylon be eliminated, along with his secret. So it's not as a big a mistake that critic makes, that as I thought, because of that mishearing. However, it still goes on around about the character being misogynistic. Well, there's not really a point to accuse it of that. Let's see. Level 21, and what level are we? 2 levels below. And halfway in the levels, so perhaps we will need to do the planetary quest line after all.
At your service, my lord. Travel route is confirmed.
So there's that. The girl reminds him of mine, so saying he as his slave serves him to imagine mine being his slave. However, and this is not really a problem with the lack of commitment of the series to the drama, it presents each time with problems and issues. He immediately treats her well, and that's fine, because if we were going to see him treat her badly, it would not go along well with the rest and the tone and the kind of story, because then it would be about someone who starts from being morally twisted, and though his feelings are very hard, and it stands to reason that somehow that betrayal can twist him and place him in a bad spot, in a bad moral and mental spot for a while at least. it would cause problem with the evolution and some of the mind path of what is then shown as going to be one of the problems that is going to be confronting him shortly, and that is that one of the strongest set of abilities of his shield that in the future will allow him to have a decent contribution to the offensive part of the fight is a course shield, the cursed line of abilities. And as cursed, it implies a risk of corruption of his mind, of his soul, of his moral compass. So if you would make him to be corrupt from the start, then that would just not allow for any kind of believable redemption or comeback or fight against a corrupting force. So it is completely fine that despite that point, that line, both in the series and in the original source material, they don't go with him treating badly that woman, and that being only in that phrase. And why the anime does remove that phrase, that reasoning of why, that justification why he changed his mind and decides to buy a female slave, simply because as there's not going to be anything coming from that, then there's no need to bring it and avoid that point of that might you see the character as more truly and morally corrupt, when what he is merely bitter and hard, but his sense of morals is not really hard. As we said, he buys the slave because he has no other choice. It's his last choice to be able to do something and survive in this world. And that's a good thing they do. Problem is, again, when that shield, that line of abilities become a problem and his mind is being taken over by the curse, by the rage of that. It is otherwise both times that happen solved before it takes root. If you are so intent on the drama, the shield should take hold of his heart, of his morals, and have an arc during which he becomes evil under the spell of the curse, and he does bad things, and Raftalia and the other allies are barely holding up by his side, trusting him against all hope, fighting to get him back, doing their hardest, so that in the influence of the shield, of the curse line of abilities, he doesn't get too far into committing evil acts and goes beyond salvation. Balmorra Arms Factory. The Balmorra Arms Corporation has been one of Balmorra's largest and most influential manufacturers of weapons, military equipment, and droids for over a century. Its products cemented Balmorra's reputation as a producer of high-quality technology, and shortly before the Imperial invasion, the company built a new factory headquarters. At the time, declared the most state-of-the-art arms production and research facility in the galaxy. When the Empire invaded, however, The Balmorra Arms Factory found a different purpose. The compound's massive walls and production facilities became the core of the Balmorran resistance effort, giving Republic troops and Balmorran soldiers an impenetrable fortress with a nearly endless supply of resources and weaponry. In the years since, the factory has been under constant siege, but has never fallen. Rumor has it that the resistance has even taken advantage of the factory's research facilities, developing devastating new technology to drive the empire of Balmorra. And if I am not mistaken, the things that await us here aren't that short. So we will stop when we reach the entry door to the factory. And that is going to be it. There's no. The door is on the other side, but I think just as you enter there is a group of enemies. So we can as well leave it here. Thanks for watching, anybody who has watched it, if anybody has watched this, and goodbye.